Alright, today we are going to go over some rounding, and we're going to talk about a couple things about rounding. So, first of all, rounding, and I guess also just estimating, which is related to rounding. So, yeah, we're going to talk about estimating the products of these um, expressions. Okay, so first of all, to estimate, you pretty much have to round in some way. That's how you estimate. So in this case, 416 times 124. Now there are a couple of ways to actually round this. Now I could now if I were to round this 416 to the tens place, it would be 420. Now, the problem with that is it's not an easy thing to multiply 420, right? So it's kind of useless if I'm trying to estimate this. Like, if I have to figure out what 420 times something else is, I might as well just do the full equation. So you're trying to make it easy so that you can estimate in your head, basically. So I would estimate this to the hundredths place, or round it to the hundredths place, which would be 400. Okay, and then times. Now, 124, I could estimate it to 100, but a more accurate number to estimate it to would actually be 120. And that works because I know my 12's multiplication tables. So in this case, I could round the 416 to 400 and the 124 to 120 because it would be more accurate to round it to round one of the numbers to only the tens place as opposed to the hundreds. If you're estimating using different, using the tens as opposed to the hundreds, you're gonna get closer to the real answer. The closer to the ones place you get, right? So this is 400 times 120 is going to be closer to the real answer than 400 times 100. So since I know that 4 times 12 is 48, the estimate is going to be 48, and then there are 3 zeros here, so I just add 3 zeros, and it is 48,000. So that is how to estimate. Now, for this one, these are not very compatible numbers, so I would do 100 times 323 times 300, and that would be 1 times 3 is 3, and then I'm going to add 4 zeros for the 4 zeros, and that's going to be an estimate of 30,000. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that since we are rounding both of these numbers down, we know that this estimate is actually lower than the actual answer. Now, if we were rounding both of the numbers up, let's just say for this one, 300 times 600, okay? And then 3 times 6 is 18. I add the 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 180,000. This is actually higher than this answer because both of these are going up. Okay, if you round both numbers up and you're multiplying them together, the estimate's going to be higher. If you round both of them down, then the estimate's going to be lower. If you round one up and one down, it kind of depends, and you don't necessarily know immediately which way it is, right? So this is one other thing I wanted to point out here for this one, 26 times 397. Now, I could do 30, right, times 400, but it would be more accurate if I did 25, and 25 is what we kind of call a compatible number, which means I know 25s because I like to think about in money, the coin, a quarter. I know that 25 times 4 equals 100, right? So I know that 4 quarters equals $1. So 25 times 4 equals 100. So I would do 100 and then add 2 zeros. So that would be 10,000. Now I could also do 30 times 400, but this one is going to be closer because 25 is closer to 26, right? So this estimate should be closer to the actual answer than this estimate. But I just wanted to mention that you can kind of, when you're estimating, unless it's a word problem that specifically tells you estimate to the nearest, estimate to the tens place, or estimate to the hundreds, right? If it says that, they mean round both numbers to that place value and then multiply. They don't mean to just multiply these two numbers together and then round the answer, because that's completely pointless. The whole point of estimating is that you can quickly figure out about how much the answer is going to be. And it's something that people use in adult life all the time. Even when I'm at the grocery store trying to figure out how much something would be, if it's 687 and I want to know how many, 5 of them will be, I'll just think of that as $7, and then 7 times 5 would be $35, right? So that's kind of, this is a skill that adults use. But if it doesn't specify how to estimate, you kind of just figure out what's an easy way without changing the values too much. So it could be compatible numbers, it could be hundreds, it could be maybe one number to the hundreds, maybe one number to the tens place. It all kind of depends on the numbers and how it works for you in your own mind. So hopefully that is helpful.